Effective strike means of the special military operation, Geran unmanned aerial vehicles. In these frames, the Geran destroys ammunition trucks with precise dives. Here it disables the much-praised American Patriot. Here it falls like a fiery rain on the Vasilkiv military airfield. Then we see the same thing in the port of Odessa. In those days, when massive strikes with hundreds of such drones were conducted daily, our film crew went to shoot at the facility where these drones are produced. On air is military acceptance. We are now at the production of Geran, which the general director designated as...
This is the largest factory in the world for producing strike drones and the most secretive. But we will show you something.
The largest factory in the world, do you understand that everything you say today in our program will later be used against you? I must warn you, or...
You know, Zhukov once said, and you had no right to be afraid.
And don't be afraid, guys. Look at what's happening on that side. And let's show how many of these geraniums are on this side. A hint. Approximately how many of these drones are you producing now?
Well, at one time there was a plan to produce several thousand Geran. Now we are producing 9 times more than the plane.
It is clear that the general director does not specify per year, per month, per day. But you understand that we are talking about thousands.
The program Military Acceptance will dedicate a separate episode to this topic, maybe even 2. Right now, we need to explain why we are talking about Geran in this film. Yes, because it is also a people's defense industry complex, in the sense that the project was implemented by people who had never worked with the Ministry of Defense before, never engaged in weapons production, and they organized this production, not at an existing factory. No, they built their plant from scratch in the most efficient economic zone in the country, Alabuga, which before the special military operations specialized in attracting the best technologies in the world to Russia and creating advanced import substituting productions. You had never dealt with defense topics before?
No.
Why did you suddenly decide?
That's a good question. In our view, in the United States, under Biden, power has been seized by crazy people who are promoting their woke culture. Woke virus.
In Russian, what does this mean for understanding?
Woke virus is the slowing down of scientific development, the slowing down of industrial development, so that in child there are fewer children.
Timur Shagivaliv has long been an advocate for traditional values. Moreover, in the factory workshops, you can often see posters. Kurchatov, Korolev, and Stalin live in your DNA. So, the young employees are reminded that they carry a piece of the DNA of great ancestors. Igor Kurchatov, the author of the nuclear project, Sergei Korolev, who realized the idea of human spaceflight, and the extremely effective manager, state leader Joseph Stalin, who not only led the country to victory, but also restored it after the war. So the young team from Alabuga realized that it was their time to do great things.
We witnessed the start of the special military operation on television. We were just watching TV. But after the sabotage of the Nord Streams, it became clear that the fight would be until complete victory. And they won't leave us alone just like that. And we must do everything necessary for our country, our way of life to prevail.
Did you approach the Ministry of Defense yourself, or did the military reach out to you?
We went ourselves.
Did you go yourself?
Yes, but we must give credit to the strategic foresight of the ministry and personally to Alexei Yurievich Krivorushko, who foresaw that the war would be a war of drones. And it's good that we were ready for it.
Wait, now you are saying something that slightly contradicts what is in the information field. Because as the generals say, they prepare for the last war. No one knew about drones. It turns out they were already preparing.
Do you remember that in the 20s and 30s in the USSR, there was also a wide discussion about what to do with tanks, how to use them. There were some mistakes. Through trial and error, we produced new tanks. In the same way, now everything will be unmanned. The war will be unmanned. A great technological revolution is happening, and everything will be unmanned, from taxis to submarines.
It turns out Geran came from the same office of the Deputy Minister for Armaments as Vauentech. And just like with Vauentech, the project was entrusted to a young and bold, efficient team that, I repeat, had never worked with defense before. Remember the story of VT-40, where it was important to achieve mass production? It's the same with Geran. This drone is undoubtedly valuable because it is efficient and highly accurate. But even more important is that, in addition, it is simple, cheap, and therefore mass-produced. Just look at the scale of this production. Huge bright workshops where you can get lost. In terms of area, this factory is not inferior to aviation ones. Hundreds of machines, thousands of workers. And everywhere you look, there are young people. Boys and girls both work here and study at the college created by the same people who organized the production of Geran. They invite school children here right after 9th grade, and after college, they call them to the factory.
Vladimir Putin noted the Alabuga experience and even called for it to be replicated. In Alabuga they work. Alabuga has taken off. A good example. Not a very necessary direction. It is precisely such projects that should become the foundation of our country's technological sovereignty, so as not to depend on anyone, as has already been done in the production of geraniums.
This is complete true localization. Aluminum bars come in, engines are made from them, microelectronic chips, microelectronics, carbon fiber, and fiberglass fuselages are made. That is full localization, true, honest.
At this factory, there are also its own foundry workshops where aluminum engine blocks are cast. There are forging workshops where steel parts are made. There are assembly workshops where geranium engines are assembled.
And here before us is the assembled engine. There are their own testing stations. Finally, there is something that no one else has. There is no other such large-scale production of two-stroke engines in Russia, and we only talked about the engine. In the same way, they make the Geran bodies themselves, produce microelectronics themselves, and assemble harnesses and wiring themselves.